Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So in this channel we'll make beautiful styles for our princesses, our baby girls. If it's something that you're interested in, please hit on the subscribe button and don't forget to watch the video to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed and give me a thumbs up. So let's go into today's video. So in today's video I'll be using about 1 yard of Ankara fabric. This is Ankara, and I went ahead to cut out the measurement for my skirt. So the length is 12 inches, that's 11 inches, 13 inches, I mean 11 inches plus 2 inches allowance for the folding and for the joining of the band. That's what I marked out here. And for the length, I have the width, I have 30 inches there folded into two, so that means I have 60 inches for the front and the back measurement. Then for the band, I have 4 inches for the length, and for the width I have 24 inches. I have 15 inches for each, that's 30. Remember that what you are going to gather, or let's say the waistband, is going to be for the same measurement with the hip, so that you can pass through the hip, because you are going to wear this skirt from the hip. So that's what you are going to do. Then you're going to go ahead to gather this skirt to be the same measurement with the band. I went to my sewing machine to do that, and this is it. After gathering, I gather is 2 into 2, the front and the back. So this is the first one, and also the second one. You can see by the side, which is for the back. The next thing I'm going to do is to sew the band to the skirt. First sewing to the skirt. So this is it after joining, attaching it to the skirt. This is the first one and this is the second one. I'm going to flip this over to the right side and then turn the other one right side facing the right side, and I'm going to go to my sewing machine and stitch the two sides together. So after stitching the two sides together, the next thing I'm going to do is to close in the rough edges of the skirt. Then to close in the rough edges of the skirt, that I will fold in half inch, then use the remaining one to close it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Just pay attention to the video, you get it. Then while stitching it, I'm going to leave out a little space for my elastic. So I'm going to pass this elastic throughout the whole waist. I have about 3/4 of this of my waist measurements in the elastic. So I attach my needle, my safety pin, and then pass the elastic through the waist. So when I'm done passing this, I'm going to remove the safety pin, then join these rubbers together, use my sewing machine to sew it down very well, not just one stitch, as much as you can. Then after it, I'm going to pull it to go in, and then I'll sew this. I'm going to stitch down the opening that I left earlier. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to fold in the rough edges at the back with the remaining measurement, with the remaining allowance I have for the skirt. And this is it after stitching it, and the skirt is looking beautiful, isn't it? Okay, for the upper part is more like an off-shoulders blouse or top, but is more like a crop top, if I should say that. I think so, is a crop top. So for this one, I'm going to cut the back and the front part together. So I'm trying to measure out and make sure that what I have there is enough for my bust measurement, waist measurement, and also for my allowance. And I have the down one, it has the zipper allowance in it. So I'm going to start taking my measurements. So I'm going to start from 4 inches. I deducted 4 inches from the actual measurement. So the line I marked now is for the bust line, which is my shoulder divided by 2. That's what I marked. Then I marked my length and also 1 inch allowance for the joining. I'm not going to fold this, I'm going to turn it with a lining or the same fabric. So that's why I added just 1 inch. So my measurement for the bust, I'm going to start from the center. When you look at it, you see that I have an extra allowance for the zipper. That's not where my measurement started. My measurement started from before the zip. That's you're not going to attach the zip to your measurement. So I marked my shoulder measurement, which is 12 divided by 2. Then I marked my bust, and the allowance I added is not so much. That's why the armhole is kind of looking tiny, right? So it's not so much, just a little bit. Then I inserted my waist measurement, and then I cut out every other thing. So if you look at the armhole area, you will see that it's a little bit bigger. So I decided to reduce my shoulder measurement with 1 inch. That's instead of marking that 6 inches, I marked 5. That's I reduced it by 1 inch. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say though. Then I had to cut out two of the fabric. I don't have a lining at the moment, so I decided to use the fabric to turn this. But if you have a lining, you can use. If you don't have a lining, you can use your fabric bias or your normal bias to turn the neckline and the armhole, this armhole. So I'll do the same thing also for the back one, turning the armhole and the neckline. Then the two sides I left it, and the opening I left it open. So the next thing I'm going to do is to notch the armhole area, so that there's no tension at that place. So I use my scissors to notch this part, then also cut out the a little bit of bulge at the place that connected the neckline and the armhole, so that you don't have, when you turn it, you don't have so much bulge there. That's the essence of turning this. And I'm going to do the same thing for the back as well, notching and cutting out the excess at that area. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So the next thing I'm going to do is to join the two fabric to I place I folded the front part together, then join the back together. I'm trying to take out my zipper allowance, so I'm going to place this to mash up the side seam. Then the remaining space is what I'm going to use my pin to hold it in place. This is my zipper allowance. I'm making sure that I don't have less or more fabric at the back or the front. Then for this sleeve, I cut out 4 inches by what we deducted is 4 inches, so that's 8 inches plus half inch. That's 1 inch allowance for the joining. That's what I cut out here, and I sew it. I'm turning it inside out for a neat finishing. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to attach this to the back. That's to the wrong side is where I attach this, and then stitch it down. Where I attach this is towards the armhole. I'm going to attach it at the front, then to the back as well. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Share my videos to family and friends. Invite them to this channel. Tell them to come. There's something happening here for our princesses. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.